society as rigid, but a citizen can always rise through the ranks if he or she becomes wealthy enough and makes the right connections. Even a slave could, in theory, become a senator. The Empire. History. The Anaconda colony was founded. In the mid-23rd century, wealthy entrepreneur Marlin Duval was so frustrated with the federal
Warning, temperature critical.
government that she founded an independent colony of her own in the Anaconda system, chosen for its remoteness. When Marlin was killed shortly afterwards in a flyer accident, her brother Henson Duval took over as ruler. Henson Duval, the Emperor. Duval immediately abolished the fledgling democracy that Marlin had set up, and in its
Heat sink deployed.
place, he established a system modelled on ancient Rome. He was now emperor, and his closest allies were his senators. Any colonists who might have objected were forced into silent compliance with Duval's vision. Such were his wealth and power. It was all
Flight assist off.
so widely
Heat
believed
sink deployed. Flight assist
that
on.
Marlin Duval, like Remus in ancient Rome, had been killed by her own brother. Nobody dared to speak out. The Mudlark extinction. The colonists were aware that the planet they had settled
Taking heat damage. Hull integrity compromised.
had been
Taking damage.
indigenous life, but at first it wasn't appreciated that this included a
Heat sink deployed. Module
sentient
malfunction.
species, nicknamed the Mudlarks after they were observed digging through riverbank mud in search of
Target shields
Stand
offline.
down immediately, Commander. Security vessels have been scrambled to your location.
Heat sink deployed. Heat sink deployed. Hull integrity critical. Eject. 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 Eject.
Warning,
Heat sink
you are
deployed.
not permitted within this area. Detach confirmed. Regulate speed until beyond the facility perimeter.
Flight assist on. Frame shift drive charging. Four, three, two, one. Engage. Frame shift drive charging. Frameshift drive charging.
The Empire. Introduction. What a piece of work is man. How noble in reason. How infinite in faculty. In form and moving.
4, 3, 2, 1, engage.
How express and admirable. In action, how like an angel. In apprehension, how like a god. The beauty of the world. The paragon of animals. Shakespeare, Hamlet.
When our ancestors departed Earth, they asked themselves, which of our achievements represents the best of humanity, that we may bring it with us to illumine the darkness? The Federation approved. Of contracts and petty bickering, chose their constitution. They placed their trust not in man himself, but in an imperfect work of man. But my ancestor, your first emperor, was wiser. He knew that the best achievement of humanity was humanity itself. There was more wisdom in a single nucleotide of his noble DNA than in all the Federation's written texts. That same wisdom still guides us now. We need no dusty documents to assert our right. We are human, born to rule. And the universe awaits the firm hand of our governance.
Emperor Trascan Duval II. Undelivered draft speech written immediately before his sudden and unexplained death. The Empire, while younger than the Federation, is easily the equal of its historic rival in terms of scale and resources. The key social distinction between the two powers is that slavery in the Empire is legal, a fact that has remained a source of controversy since its inception, both within the Empire and without. Some observers have pointed out, however, that conditions for those at the lowest levels of federal society are far worse than those experienced by imperial slaves. The popular image of the Empire is one of opulence, but while pomp and pageantry may be the norm in the core imperial systems, elsewhere in imperial space, one can find myriad examples of deprivation and squalor. Indeed, the Empire encompasses many
Shields offline. Silent
contrasts. Sophisticated technology exists
Flight assist off.
alongside an ancient Roman system of government, and the affluence of the core worlds depends on often unregulated slave labor
Heatsink deployed.
in the wretched outer colonies. Ruthless
Taking heat damage.
industrial efficiency and low taxation
Taking damage.
has made the Empire rich and mighty. The
Flight
hierarchy
assist on. Heatsink
of
deployed.
imperial society is rigid, but a citizen can always rise through the ranks
Heatsink deployed. Heatsink
if he or she
deployed.
becomes wealthy
Heatsink deployed. Heatsink deployed.
and makes the right connections. Even a slave could, in theory, become a senator.
Frameshift charge detected.
The Empire. History. The Anaconda colony was founded. In the mid-23rd century, wealthy entrepreneur
Frameshift drive charging.
Marlin Duval was so frustrated with the federal government
4, 3, 2, 1, engage.
that she founded an independent colony of her own in the Anaconda system, chosen for its remoteness. When Marlin was killed shortly afterwards in a flyer accident, her brother Henson Duval took over as ruler. Henson Duval the Emperor. Duval immediately abolished the fledgling
Shields online. Heatsink
democracy
deployed.
that Marlin had set up, and in its place, he established a system modeled on ancient Rome. He was now emperor, and his closest allies were his senators. Any colonists who might have objected were forced
Heatsink deployed. Sensor charging. Ready to engage. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage. Heat sink deployed.
Into silent compliance with Duval's vision. Such were his wealth and power. It was also widely believed that Marlene Duval, like Remus in ancient Rome, had been killed by her own brother. Nobody dared to speak out. The Mudlark extinction. The colonists were aware that the planet they had settled, Achenar 6D, had indigenous life. But at first, it wasn't appreciated that this included a sentient species, nicknamed the Mudlarks after they were observed digging through riverbank mud in search of food. Although the Mudlarks were at a pre-agricultural stage of development, they appeared to have developed the beginnings of language. They also created crude forms in molded clay, with no obvious practical purpose, possibly indicating a nascent artistic culture. The Mudlarks proved fatally vulnerable to the bacteria carried by the colonists, and within a few decades of the colony's founding, the species was extinct. Rumors subsequently emerged that Henson Duval had purposefully removed all traces of the Mudlarks, partly in fear of federal reprisal, and partly to ensure that his development plans would not be hindered by ecological constraints. The Federation attempted to reclaim Achenar. When the federal government heard rumors that Duval's colony had recklessly caused the destruction of a sentient indigenous species, they decided on military intervention. The Imperial ships beat back the federal attackers, who were unable to establish a beachhead among the airless outer worlds, and struggled to maintain supply lines so far from Earth. The federal forces eventually fell back and entrenched in the Beta Hydri system. Skirmishes with Imperial ships continued for the next 50 years, but these were unable to prevent Duval from expanding the Empire to many other worlds. The Age of Expansion. After hostilities with the Federation ceased, the Empire entered a century of growth, annexing many new systems and persuading
Icon, Sierra Hotel Alpha, Federal Flight Control welcomes you. Please submit a docking request before entering the station. Landing permission denied.
It spent the
Decrease
following
range
2
and
centuries
resubmit.
consolidating its new territory, appointing colonial administrators from among the noble houses of Achenar.
Hull integrity compromised. Shields
The
offline.
Empire.
Taking damage.
Society. An ancient Roman model. The Empire
Warning, landing gear not deployed.
works on a clean system. Society is divided
Landing gear deployed. Shields
into
online.
tiers. Emperor, senators, patrons,
Touchdown. Systems offline.
clients, and then citizens, with slaves below these. Groups of patrons pledge their support to a given
complete. Clear for egress.
Flight assist off. Flight assist on. Power plant capacity exceeded. Frame shift drive charging.
All clear. FSB out.
Four, three, two, one. Engage.
Senator, offering military service, tax revenue, and the right to wield the patrons' votes in the Senate on their behalf. In return, the patrons are granted a measure of protection and material security, as well as having their interests represented in the Imperial Senate. Senators are responsible for deciding tax rates and welfare systems for their patrons, meaning that the lower a given senator's tax rates, the more patrons he is likely to attract. This is far from being a patron's only concern, however. Loyalty over time, ideological compatibility, family connections, and discreet private deals can all play a part in deciding which senator to back. The system extends downward through the tiers in a similar fashion, with clients pledging themselves to given patrons, and citizens pledging themselves to given clients. The votes held by the patrons actually comprise the total votes of all the clients pledged to them. Similarly, the votes held by those clients comprise the total votes of their pledged citizens. Patrons are therefore capable of investing.
Flight assist off. Power plant capacity exceeded. Warning, shield breach attack. Taking damage. Under attack. malfunction. Warning, temperature critical. Module malfunction. Flight assist on. Frameshift drive charging. Four, three, two, one. Engage.
Variable degrees of power in their chosen senators, with the result that some senators are more powerful than others. Senators are responsible for those below them, meaning that everyone has a form of social security, at least in theory. Indeed, many senators take pride in the security they offer their citizens. Some have even been known to drain material wealth from small independent worlds and pump it back into the capital economy, allowing them to reduce citizens' taxes and giving their own popularity a considerable boost. Patrons are free to withdraw their patronage from their chosen senator, placing the onus on the senator to represent them satisfactorily or face a loss of voting power. Rigid stratification. The division between social classes is formal, unambiguous, and strict. But there is a clear path to advancement. A person can pay a fee and petition for admittance to the rank above. In this way, slaves can become citizens too. The law is not the same for all. Senators have a responsibility to enforce the law, and they must obey the emperor's decree, but are otherwise above the law. A senator can even carry out executions personally, with little, if any, fear of consequence. The Empire. Military. The Imperial Navy. Maintaining a modernized navy has always been a top priority for the Empire. The ever-present threat posed by the Federation has driven previous emperors to empty the coffers again and again for fear of being outstripped in the arms race.
Warning, temperature critical.
Delay C, Sierra Hotel Alpha. Landing permission will be granted upon request. Welcome to this Federal Starport, Commander.
Funding has come from wealthy individual senators, many of whom are all too
Warning, taking heat damage.
eager to gain influence within the Navy. Indeed, it has been claimed that devastating planetary mining has been carried out in order to further this cause. The Facisi system is arguably the most significant Imperial naval base.
Flight assist
Landing
off.
authorized. Assigned to landing pad 3-2.
Taking heat damage. Flight assist on.
while Peter's wreck is home to the training centers. As well as the battle fleets, the Imperial Navy maintains a subdivision dedicated to exploring the fringes of known space. The Emperor's Own.
Observing steady traffic in this sector. Caution is advised.
Genetic engineering is not officially tolerated in the Empire, but it does sometimes take place. One notable example is the Emperor's Own, a group of genetically engineered super soldiers deployed during the shock invasion of Mansfield Colony in the
Landing gear deployed.
Needler system in 2959. They proved brutally efficient, overrunning the Federal defenses in a mere 2 hours and inflicting a rare defeat upon a Federal Gurkha regiment. The Empire. Culture. The human body represents perfection. This belief, once held with mere religious intensity, still forms the bedrock of the Empire's culture and morals. Genetic modification is frowned upon, but a degree of genetic correction is known to take place, supposedly to correct defects such as vulnerability to certain diseases. The belief in the sanctity of the human body originates with the first emperor, Henson de Val. While he did not claim to be literally descended from the gods in the manner of Roman emperors of old, he declared that his own image was the paradigm to which others ought to aspire. Households across the empire were required to display a statue or bust of the emperor in a place of honor. Imperial citizens are therefore expected to shun habits that corrupt or defile the human body, such as excessive indulgence in narcotics. The ownership of slaves, by contrast, is tolerated in the same way that the ownership of any beautiful work of art is tolerated. Mistreatment of slaves is thus akin to vandalism. Keeping one's own body in peak condition and adorning it with jewels and expensive clothes is not vanity, but duty. And owning well-treated slaves is also considered a sign of good character. The Emperor's word is supreme. The Emperor's successor is decided by the Senate, although the de Val dynasty. Strong power.
Ship detach complete. Access corridor is clear.
That the Imperial throne has only ever been occupied by members of her bloodline. For generations, genetic selection ensured that the Emperor's heir would be male, and the current ruler, Arissa Lavinie de Val, is the first woman to hold the throne. Marlene de Val is sometimes described as the Empire's first female ruler, but this is incorrect. The colony she founded was a democracy. Honor is everything. The value placed on honor is
drive charging.
Throughout all tiers of imperial society, honor can be lost through various means, including leaving debts unpaid, failing to respect a superior or provide for a dependent, breaking a solemn
4, 3, 2, 1.
Now, conducting combat with cowardly weapons such as nerve gas and defiling one's own body. Slavery is acceptable, but slaves must be well treated. In the Empire, it's not uncommon for the poor and disenfranchised to sign up for a period of military service in exchange for a small sum of money. A similar logic applies to imperial slavery, to the extent that someone might sell themselves into slavery to clear a debt and restore their honor. Selling oneself into slavery is a straightforward legal process and results in a guaranteed sum of money for one's family, so it is a popular option for the desperate. In practice, however, many find that it takes much longer than expected to clear their debts. People are also forced into slavery against their will. Sometimes a senator will sentence a person of lower rank to be stripped of citizenship and designated as a slave. But it is more common to impose a fine of such magnitude that the citizen has no recourse but to sell his or herself into slavery. Slaves may also be taken prisoner following a conflict, abducted from their home, or even captured in a hijacking. While trading slaves is lawful everywhere in the Empire, except on Emerald, taking new slaves outside of wartime is illegal without the blessing of a senator. The Empire. Diplomatic relations. The Federation. Resentment of the Federation runs deep in the Empire. The superpower is remembered as an oppressive, interfering force that hypocritically avoids inflicting the slightest harm on non-human life, but thinks nothing of forcibly imposing its values on its fellow humans, and lacking the freedoms and social customs that the Empire values so dearly. While open hostility has frequently been the case in the past, the current situation is one of grudging coexistence, beneath which mistrust simmers. Despite this antipathy, the Empire cooperated with the Federation in a series of joint initiatives against the Thargoids in the early 3300s.
Lakon, Sierra, Hotel Alpha. It's good to see you, Commander. Please enjoy your stay at this facility.
The Alliance. When the Alliance was founded
Flight assist off.
in 3230, following a bitter conflict with the Empire and the Federation, multiple systems defected to it from both superpowers. To the surprise of many, the Empire took very little further retributive action, partly because of the ill health of the Emperor of the time, and partly due to a belief that the defecting systems would return to their natural home, sooner or later. The Empire's current attitude to the Alliance is one of
Flight assist on.
contempt. To
Sync deployed.
recognize it as a threat would be too much like showing respect. Internal politics.
Flight assist off. Thermal signature restored.
Unsurprisingly for a society so concerned,
Stand down, Commander. Lethal force has been authorized.
rank and influence, the Empire contains a multitude of feuding powers.
Warning. Temperature critical.
In particular,
Hull integrity compromised. Taking
there is a
damage.
good
Flight assist on. Frameshift drive
blood between
charging.
various noble houses.
4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
Whose values range from hardcore traditionalist to staunch reformist. The Imperial Senate is no longer as overshadowed by the Emperor as it once was, and has gained sufficient strength to act as a counterbalance to the Emperor's political. The individual character of the Emperor still determines the Empire's overall direction, however, and the suggestion that the Empire should evolve out of its old ways has proven deeply divisive.